So this is my quick version of how to teach someone to match pitch. Um, I think the first thing to realize is that clearly most people can match pitch because when they speak, their inflection goes up and down. They don't talk like a robot. They don't have random variations in their voice, right? But they're infusing meaning into their speech by the tone they use. Um, So we know that people can do that. We know that there's a learning mechanism for that. And how do they learn that? They learn that by um, mimicking people, And as a kid, they would mimic things, and we'd encourage them, and we'd mimic back. Da 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 da. But there came a point. This is my overarching theory here. There came a point where they stopped mimicking, started creating their own words, right? And then there came another point where mimicking things became rude. If you exactly mimic someone's tone of voice, you're making fun of them, generally speaking, right? So people generally stop mimicking things. So the other important thing to realize is that um, people tend to categorize singing in a different place in their brain than speaking. They think this is how I speak, but singing is something special. Like especially the people who can't sing or are tone deaf, they tend to say, "Oh well, singing is this thing I have to do, and speaking is this thing," and they can't bridge the two things. So I always start out speaking, and they can almost always um, mimic funny speech, like, but you do have to have enough musical experience to be in their range and have a voice where you can like speak up in their range because they don't get the octave thing, and they, at least in my experience, like they have to, it takes, once someone can match pitch, then they can do the octave thing, I think, in general, but I think it's much harder if they can't match pitch yet. So um, what I will do is I will do some repeat after me, like this is a repeat after me game, and they'll repeat it back, and I'll have to pitch it in their, in their range. This is a repeat after me game, la, you know, um, and what I do, I call this the mockingbird game, but especially if I'm working with one person, which I think you have to do when you're training someone to match pitch, is when you make a tone that is in their range and they don't match you, right? So the protocol goes like this: I make a sound, whoa. They try to make it and they put it in a different range, whoa, and you're like, you then repeat what they did back to them and then what you did. All right. So and then you have them repeat both of those back. So I give A, they respond B. I say B, A, and then they go B, A, if that makes sense. So here's the full demo. Hey man, hey man, hey man, hey man, hey man, hey man. All right. If that wasn't clear, maybe I'll do it again on different sides of the screen. Okay, so here's me, and here's the student. I'll be small student. All right, here we go. Hey man, hey man, hey man, hey man, hey man, hey man. Right, so that does a number of things, right? Like we're getting them on pitch. You have to keep things really short, right? Like there's sort of a span of audio image that people can hold in their head, and you want to have, it's a sound bite essentially. You want a sound bite, something that someone can hold as one image in their head and they can say back. If it gets too long, then then you're starting to work into like other types of memory. We're just trying to stick strictly in mimicking like short sound bites. So when you are coming up with your phrases, your little short things, it's imperative to have as much character and emotion even in them as possible, right? Whoa is, you know, probably repeatable, but whoa is so much more. Like when they're mimicking you, you need to have them mimic like your posture and your face and everything. All that will help them with the pitch. Okay, so short sound bites, right? And we're speaking. So we've done speaking for a while, right? And like this could be 5 minutes or whatever, and then I'll start talking like a robot, which they also usually get. Like, now I'm talking like a robot. 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 All right. And so I'll do that and try to get them on pitch with that. And usually by the end of the first session, we can do that. Okay. So that's like all sort of preceding notes. Like we don't even think about music yet, right? And then when we get to music, then we'll start being doing intervals and things like I mean, well, not intervals, but like I'll try different things until they can get it. I'll be like la la, because that's a very early recognizable sound thing, like mama, la la. Um, and then I might add a second note, but it's always going to be like, you know, major second, minor third, like very like if there's any jumps at all. So yeah, and then build from there, right? I think there was something else I was going to say. Using your finger to match your intonation as you do it. Oh my God! Right? Um, well, and you probably want to mirror the direction. Oh my God! To do left to right. Will also help them. So sometimes if someone's having more trouble, I'll do that. But it's probably just a good idea to do it right from the beginning. Just like draw your inflection with your finger, and they'll start to see it. Because it's something that's happening unconsciously, and you really need to make it conscious. So I hope that helps. And thanks for watching.